What music they make.
Sejam bem-vindos a mais um podcast de Metal Global. Hoje a conversa é com o Nick de Virgílio, lendário baterista, ele que vai estar em Portugal no dia 9 de junho no Coliseu de Lisboa com o espetáculo Genesis Tribute, One Night With Orchestra. Para saber o que esperar desse concerto com a orquestra de tributo aos Genesis, a conversa é com o Nick de Virgílio. Antes da conversa, não quero mais lembrar que tem a versão rádio, a versão com música em exclusivo na RTP Play. É passar por lá e procurar por Metal Global. Este concerto, então, que acontece dia 9 de junho no Coliseu de Lisboa, é um tributo em forma de homenagem e tem um carácter especial. É realizado com músicos diretamente ligados aos Genesis, oferecendo uma perspectiva autêntica sobre o legado da banda e sobre a criação desta versão sinfónica. Este concerto tem a particularidade de ser acompanhado pela Orquestra Sinfónica de Lisboa, com direção do maestro italiano e com partituras inglesas, e o coro da ópera de Setúbal. Para falar então do que podemos esperar deste concerto, a conversa é com Nick de Virgílio.
Hey, good morning.
Hello, Nick. Good morning. How are you?
Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Everything is good. How are you?
Good, man. Thank you.
Are you
Good to see you.
Are you an early bird?
Today I am. I mean, this is not too. 7, 8 o'clock is usually when I get up. So yeah,
Very
not too
good.
bad.
Cool.
Yeah.
And let's go straight to the point. The Genesis tribute show, One Night with Orchestra. You guys are playing Portugal with that show. What can fans expect for those who haven't gone on YouTube or don't go on the internet at all? What can they expect from that show?
It's super cool. It's a lot of old Genesis music. I think the latest song is Undertow, and then there were 3. So that's the newest song. So it's a lot of old material from way back in the day. Huge orchestra. These songs, the arrangements of these songs sound really beautiful set to that style with those instruments. It's really cool. And then there's Martin Levac and myself. We have 2 drum kits. We're doing double drums. Martin's an amazing Phil Collins, tribute artist. He really pulls off that kind of thing very, very well. It's super fun. It's a great way to hear this music in that setting.
Yeah. When you guys chose the set list for this show, you pick up songs that, were more inclined to an orchestral arrangement, or you kind of mixed up a bit, and let's see if it works or not.
Well, there's a couple that won't have the orchestra. I mean, the more sort of, I don't know, rock songs. There's a couple of those in there, but the majority does have the full orchestra. So it depends. So yeah, I mean, you're correct in what you're saying. The ones that we did pick for orchestra definitely lend themselves to have that vibe and that sound. And then the ones that are a little more simple, we just play as the rock band.
Is there such a thing as a simple song?
Well, simpler. Yeah. Yeah, correct, for sure.
Obviously, you are no stranger to Genesis on Calling All Stations. You were one of the 2 drummers to play on that. How was that experience, first of all, back in that time, like we're talking 1997, something like that? How was that experience for you?
Crazy. It's an incredible experience, really. Something I never expected in my wildest dreams to happen. So, once in the studio, that was pretty typical. When we were in there just making music, like a regular recording session. So that was cool. It just happened to be in Genesis studio with Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford in Phil Collins' drum room on one of his drum kits. It was kind of over the top.
Did you felt the magic on the drum kit?
Oh, yeah. It was cool being in that studio for sure. You walk down the hall from the control room, you'd walk down the hall and it was just lined with their platinum records, all the way to the drum room. And it was this sort of stone. I mean, the amount of music that's been recorded there must have been incredible. So, yeah, it it was neat.
Wasn't intimidating to go, through a corridor with all the platinum records on, and you're like, okay, how I'm going to, make justice to all these platinum records.
Yeah, I felt that for a while, but like I said, once we started, it was pretty. We just sort of made music. It wasn't. There wasn't that sort of thing. Kind of didn't calm down quickly. Yeah.
Is it easy to go? Obviously you're known for many bands. A great drummer, obviously great singer as well. Is it easy for you? You feel more at ease when you go into the studio and you start feeding off each other musicians. You like that kind of vibe as a musician.
Yeah. That's where the magic is. I mean, that could be studio or live, but it's the connection you have with the other players in that moment. There's really nothing like it. It's really cool, and when it really locks in and it sounds good and everybody's feeling good, smile. I mean, it's a really special thing. Yeah.
And you mentioned like simpler songs, but which one is a bit more difficult to play? With this orchestra song, concert, which one is a bit more tricky for you to play, if there's any? I mean, you're a legend.
Well, they all have their. I mean, well, this is a strange gig for me in the sense that I know this music very well. I've lived it since I was a kid, and I've played a lot of these songs. And I just came off a tour with Steve Hackett in November and October of last year. So a lot of these songs I've played a lot. So showing up to a gig like this, you would think it'd be really, really difficult, and it was actually not as difficult because I knew the music so well. So trickier ones are like Supper's Ready is always going to have that. You play the Apocalypse and 9/8 part. That's tricky, but there's some crazy parts even in Firth of Fifth. Just making sure that guitar and keyboard solo section is nice and tight, but. We have a great conductor, and they know the rock band. The guys that are from Italy playing the bass and guitar and keys and stuff are incredible musicians. So it's it wasn't as difficult as you'd think.
Yeah. Is there a one or two or more that actually are more fun to play, where when you start playing, you see the crowd reacting, or even the musicians are like, okay, this is the one.
There's a lot of that stuff, actually. I mean, it could be something as simple as like when Martin is really good at getting the crowd involved. He's a really great frontman. He really is. He knows how to communicate with the audience and get them clapping and singing and all kinds of stuff. So that kind of stuff is really cool. Even something like in I Know What I Like, where he does the tambourine solo and stuff. He's a great showman. So something as simple as that is really cool and uplifting. And then when you play something big like, like Firth of Fifth, when that guitar solo and keyboard solo with we do all the same kind of fills like on Seconds Out as Chester and Phil do. So it's like it's good. Yeah. Martin really knows the music. I thought I was deep into Genesis music. I mean, Martin is really deep into it. So,
you mentioned time signatures. What is the oddest time signature on a Genesis song?
They do a lot of stuff in 7. Probably that thing in 9, in Apocalypse and 9/8. That's about it. They don't go too crazy with like 13s and 11s and stuff. They're usually in the 5, 7, and 9 world in a lot of their time stuff.
I used to play guitar, but when I start to get into the prog music, the time signatures was always confusing for me, especially the drumming parts. I'm like, what the hell is happening here?
Right. There is music that's more difficult, for sure. You play some Frank Zappa stuff or, even crazy things like that. There can get really crazy.
Normally, do you need to rehearse a lot to get? You mentioned that you grew up with a lot of the Genesis songs, but you need a lot of rehearsals to get those, drumming parts tight?
Well, sure. I practice as much as I can on my own here in my room and stuff, and play along to the originals and those kinds of things. So I make sure I know the arrangement is really solid in my head, and key drum fills, if I could, that kind of stuff. Martin is really good about, pointing certain things out that we could do together. And then, but then it's a matter of playing it with the other people. So, and we don't really have much time. So we'll have maybe 2 rehearsals with the orchestra there in Portugal before we get on stage, really. So everybody's practicing on their own. I know the orchestra does their thing for a while before we show up, and then we get together and, fingers crossed, everything goes well.
And for you, as a drummer, how did it all begin for you? What made you so interested in playing drums?
Wow. At the very, very beginning, I have no idea. I was just hitting things because, I have other musicians in my family, but nobody played drums. And my father bought me a drum kit when I was 5 years old. So very patient man didn't mind the noise in the house, that kind of stuff. I don't really know why I started. I just sort of liked the sounds, and it came naturally. So there was something there. And I just got into I have an older brother and sister, and they turned me on to lots of music. All the bands that I, ended up really liking as a kid, including Genesis. So, something appealed to me there, and I started doing it. And then I had the ability to, because my parents gave me the instruments when I was such a young kid, and I went for it.
Yeah. Do you remember the first song you were able to play from start to finish?
Yeah, it's a Led Zeppelin song called The Rover.
Oh.
From Physical Graffiti.
Yeah.
I loved Led Zeppelin. I still do, but they were, John Bonham was one of my very favorite drummers. And as a kid, my brother played in a band. He played guitar, and he played in a band, like a cover band playing cover songs. And that was one of the songs they played. And somehow that was the first song I learned.
Yeah, and it's fascinating for me. Like I said, I used to play guitar, but I couldn't learn a song from start to finish. I was really bad at it. Oh. But when you learn to play that song, all that came after was easier for you after learning, that one from start to finish. You start to get the grasp of, okay, now I know how this works.
Listen, I was 5 or 6 years old, so I'm not really sure what I was doing. I just knew that somehow I was able to play those drum beats and figure out what did what. And so that's what I did from that point on. I just listened to records and played along until I took a few lessons and learned a few things from teachers a few years later. And then as I got into my teenage years, then I went crazy hog wild with everything I could get my hands on. But those first few years, it was just me listening to records and trying to take it all in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, back in those days, playing along with a record was the way to learn how to play.
I know.
And you could slow down sometimes the record and, try to kind of hear. I'm still from that time. Anyway, I'm getting old as well. So.
It was different. It was. Things are a lot easier now as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, so many, you see so many tutorials on YouTube and social media. If you want to learn something, it's really handy these days to get into something. Is that one of the good advantages of, the evolution of technology for you? Because there's a lot of talk of AI replacing, musicians and stuff. What is your take on the technology that we have these days?
Well, it's incredible. And yes, it could be very beneficial for all kinds of things like that. Learning parts, seeing stuff immediately, going back and finding your favorite bands and watching them play live, just, searching kind of things and finding people, figuring out drum parts. If there's something you can't get, there's someone out there that probably knows what to do. So you can find it immediately out there on YouTube and all the different channels and stuff like that. That's great. AI it's weird how fast it's coming, because it seems like it's only been around for like a year, maybe a little more, but it's coming very, very fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not too worried about it replacing musicians. I think people still want to see people play and hear people play. So I don't think that's going to go away, but it is crazy how you could just type in an idea and send it up into the ether, and it comes back as a song that sounds pretty good. So it's very strange.
If you had one advice to give to a younger musician that's starting, what would be that advice to them?
Oh, learn to love sometimes practice can be boring, but you got to learn to love the difficultness of it all. Because once you break through, if something's really hard and you're practicing, you're dedicated and you're putting in the time and you feel like you can't get it, but then one day it just opens up and you're like, oh my God, I've done it. It's such a satisfying thing to get to that point. So, learn to love the work you put in, because once you cross that finish line, it's a great feeling. And also share the love of music with other people. Get out there and play with other people. That's the best way to learn you learn songs, you learn arrangements, you learn what music sounds like, you learn what a chorus is and a verse is, and this stuff is invaluable. So share the love of music with others. It's a really good thing.
Cool. And, we mentioned already this Genesis side of you, but you play in a lot of bands. Big Train is one of them. You guys played here last year, I think in Portugal, and you guys released a new album, Woodcut. How do you feel about Big Train? I mean, the last record is fucking amazing. Great album. What is your, the situation with Big Train? You guys going to play some live shows? What's the plan?
So yeah, the record just came out this year. It's our first concept record, a story from beginning to end. It's my band. I've been in the band since 2007. I really feel, this is my band. Love the music that we create. We're going to go out and do a tour of Europe. I don't think we're coming to Portugal, unfortunately. But it's September, October this year. We're trying really hard to tour more. So it's sort of like baby steps. Each time we go out, we play a couple of new places and we try to grow where we can go. It all comes down to money, unfortunately, and what we can afford and how we can get from the whole group from place to place. It's all comes down to that. But it's an incredible band to be in. I love everybody in there and the music that create. It's a real, we've got such a great vibe together. So I'm excited about the gigs that we will play, and hopefully there's more in the future.
Yeah, and with Spoxbeard, is there going to be more new music shows?
Spox is I'm not in the band anymore. Okay. It's been a while for me, but they're still doing stuff, and not that often, but the guys are still around trying to keep the name alive, which is great.
Cool. And do you know how many records have you played in?
In general, total?
Yeah.
Hundreds. Yeah, a lot. I've been really blessed, man, to have a really fun career. Being a musician is a struggle for sure. You got to keep pushing the boundaries and meeting people and getting out there and putting your face out there. But I've been blessed to play on a lot of records. Yeah, I lost count. And it's been a really fun ride. It's taken me all over the world. It's been an incredible thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And, a couple of years ago, you did a tour with Mr. Big, the last tour of Mr. Big. Replacing Pat Thorpe is always, a bit complicated and challenging because he was such a unique musician and, a lot of character that he had. How was that, that tour? And let's say playing with Billy Sheehan and Paul Gilbert, man.
Cool. Yeah. It was incredible. It was super cool, man. It was one of those things that came to be because of knowing Paul and doing a few things in the recording studio with Paul. It wasn't something I was pursuing. He just sent me an email one day asking if I'd be interested in possibly doing this tour with them, and I immediately said yes. It's a style of music that I don't play that often because I'm just not in that world very much. So it was a great challenge. Pat, it was an incredible drummer. He really was. His drum parts were interesting for sure, man. And there was some really technical stuff that he would do. Plus, he had played with a lot of power, and some of the songs were really fast, So it was a good physical challenge, too. It was a lot of fun. And those guys are some of the most consistent musicians. Their technical facility is through the roof. But they did that night after night after night. It was like they almost never had a bad night ever. It was incredible. Yeah. It was really cool.
I'm a huge fan of Billy Sheehan and the way that he plays bass, like almost as it's like a guitar kind of a thing. It's just how is it for you to as a drummer, when you have like a bass player, as a partner, what is the style that you prefer for the bass to play? Listen to stuff like Genesis, yes, or Mr. Big. It's always a bit different, like Rush, for instance, where the bass parts are quite unique sometimes as well. Yeah. How do you prefer to have a sidekick as a bass player? What style normally do you like to go with?
Well, it's not a preference. It's just a style, because I love playing with a guy who's like a typical R&B bass player he's locks with the kick drum, very simple, funk music kind of stuff. That's amazing, especially when there's guys that are really good at it. And playing with someone with a style like Billy, it's just a different sort of thing, and he's incredible at it. So he can lock in like a typical bass player, and he does, but he sort of weaves around it with his sort of lead bass thing. So you kind of get this mixture of the two things. Just depends on the song. I don't think it's not a preference. It's just if they're good at what they do, then and we lock in together as a rhythm section, then it's great.
Cool. And, for you, after this concert with the orchestra, what are the plans? Are you in the studio working with more new music, more projects, bands? Anything that you can say for us that can we expect from you next?
After the gigs, so I work for Gretsch Drums, the drum manufacturer. So I'm doing stuff with them. I have a couple of drum shows and I do a lot of content in my drum room here for Gretsch and things like that. So I'll be doing a lot of that stuff. I'm working on a solo record, which I'm almost done with. And then I have Big Train coming later this year. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. The solo record, what kind of music are you into on that solo record?
It's rock and roll. It's just sort of it's kind of all over the place, really. I've had a lot of songs that have been sitting around for quite a long time, and they haven't found a home, and I got tired of them sitting around going, man, this song's cool. I need to release this somehow. And I cobbled together a lot of these songs. I have 10 of them now. And I was thinking it was going to be very just random pieces of music, but it's actually turned into a very cohesive thing. Lyrically, there's a theme there. So, which I kind of didn't expect at the beginning. So I'm just putting this music out because I'm tired of it just sitting on the shelf. And it's good work to do. Yeah. I get away from the day job stuff and other things, just kind of get into my own world for a while. So I'm excited about it.
When you're a musician like that, do you actually ever work, or it's just...
Sometimes it can be, but yeah, I mean, listen, I know it's all music related, so it's good work. Sometimes it can be tedious and frustrating, but that's life. It's all good. It's all good.
Right, Nick, thank you very much for your time. All the best for the upcoming projects. Big Train. Hopefully you guys can come back again to Portugal. And this time around, Lisbon or Porto, one of the major cities. So
it would be cool.
It becomes easier for us. And, looking forward for this Genesis tribute show, One Night with Orchestra. It's going to be amazing. So looking forward to that.
Have a good time, yeah. For sure. All right, man.
Thank you very much. Have a great day and see you soon. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers. Bye. Metal Global foi conversa com o lendário baterista Nick de Virgílio, ele que vai estar em Portugal dia 9 de junho no Coliseu de Lisboa com o espetáculo Genesis Tribute, One Night with Orchestra. Vai ser um concerto a não perder. Para além da conversa sobre este espetáculo de Genesis, falamos um pouco da sua experiência que fez com que ele tocasse no álbum Calling All Stations dos Genesis e também da sua sua participação mais recente, neste caso com os Mr. Big. Tem a versão rádio, a versão com música exclusiva na RTP Play, a passar por lá, a procurar por Metal Global. E assim, chegamos ao final deste podcast. Dúvidas ou sugestões? Enviar e-mail jorge.botas@rtp.pt. Visite o site metalglobal.pt e procurem pela página de fãs no Facebook, façam like. Tive que criar uma página nova, por isso façam o favor de passar por lá. Se estão a ouvir esta versão em Apple Podcasts, Spotify ou YouTube Music, subscrevam para não perder nenhum episódio. Eu volto no próximo programa. Um forte abraço.
Children of the night, he will live through the centuries to come, as I have lived. Good night.